Let's discuss why we need data structures. In everyday life, we constantly interact with data. When you shop online, you type a few words and instantly see multiple products. The result contains images, titles, descriptions, and sometimes videos. In messaging apps, you can send a message to a friend and still read conversations from yesterday or even months ago. When you withdraw money from a bank, the system checks your account balance and verifies your password. All of these are examples of working with data, but this data cannot be random. It must be organized in a way that makes it easy to access, search, and operate on. That's where data structures come in. Let's take a closer look at one familiar example: a streaming platform like Netflix. Even if you don't use Netflix, you've probably watched movies online, so the idea is the same. There are three common use cases. The first is searching by title or genre. You type a word, and the system quickly shows multiple suggestions. The second is browsing trailers. On a single page, you can see many trailers loaded at the same time. These trailers are short and designed to be accessed together. The third use case is watching a movie. When you select a movie, it opens in full screen and loads a large video file. Only one movie plays at a time, and it requires much more data. These three use cases are different. You don't search movies the same way you search trailers. Trailers are short and grouped together. Movies are long, heavy files and are handled differently. Because the data is used differently, it makes sense for programmers to store and manage it differently. Searchable information like titles and genres needs to be optimized for fast searching. Trailers need to be grouped and loaded efficiently. Full movies need storage designed for large files. Now, instead of going deeper into Netflix's internal systems, let's look at some simple and commonly used data structures. The first one is an array. An array has a fixed size. You can imagine it like a carton of eggs. Each slot holds one egg, and all slots are the same. You cannot add extra slots unless you create a new carton. In programming, arrays are indexed starting from 0. This means the first element is at index 0, not 1. This comes from how computers work internally using binary numbers. To access an element in an array, you use its index. For example, if you want the third egg, you directly access that position. All elements in an array must follow the same structure or type. The second commonly used data structure is a list. You can imagine a list like a line of people. Unlike an array, a list has a dynamic size. People can join or leave the line, and everything still works smoothly. You can add or remove elements from the beginning, middle, or end. Lists are flexible and can grow or shrink as needed. In many cases, lists can also hold different types of data. So, arrays are fixed in size and structured, while lists are dynamic and flexible. The important thing to understand is that programming almost always involves working with data. Since data comes in many forms and is used in different ways, we use different data structures to manage it efficiently. So to summarize, arrays work best when the size and structure of data are fixed. Lists work best when the size of data changes frequently. And this is why in real-world applications like shopping apps, messaging apps, or streaming platforms, different data structures are used for different purposes. Programming is not just about writing code. It's about choosing the right structure for the data you're working with.